All right, ladies and gentlemen, Ben Dixon here, your host for MLM Monday. I am so excited today to bring you to one of our few in the series of the Why series of videos. In a few moments here, I'm going to get to introduce you to Tony Heisterkamp, who's not only a client of ours here at NaXum, but is going to be walking you through the why behind his company, Lifebrook. He started a very exciting direct selling company that's doing really cool things here in the USA. And I'm really looking forward to introducing you today. But before we get started, as you're coming in here, if you're watching on the replay or you're watching live here, as we're on the Zoom for the show, go ahead and comment in here below and start sharing this with other people who are watching. Some of the most important thing you can do in your own company, your career, is know why you're doing what you're doing, and then find other people that have that same purpose in life and align yourself with them. So that's our heart for this series that we're doing, is to give different folks that we've seen in the industry an opportunity to share on our platform the why they exist, so that they can share that here with you in the marketplace, and you can align yourself with people that have a why that matches yours. So before we get started, I want to go ahead and just do a little audio check. Hey Tony, how are you doing today? How is it sounding on your side?
Sounds great there, Ben.
Oh, fantastic. I just want to thank you for taking a few minutes to come together with us today here on the show. So one of the questions I know that everyone asks before we jump into the big meat of the why is, what was a bit of your story? What was your primary focus? What were you doing before the idea of Lifebrook became something that you jumped into?
Well, several years ago, we bought a farm here on the South Dakota-Iowa border, and we're trying to figure out what we were going to plant there. And we knew we wanted to grow, something that was going to be sustainable for our little farm there, and start off with an apple orchard. And then about a year later or so, we found out about the aronia berry. And I had been drinking a high antioxidant fruit juice from Southeast Asia to take care of some of my health issues, because it's not that I don't like doctors, I just don't like knives, and it worked for me. When I found out about the aronia and how the antioxidant value was 4 to 5 times greater than what I was consuming, I said, well, we need to plant these and grow them ourselves, and right along with all the other foods that we're growing organically to share with our family and friends and community that we live by. And so when we found out about the aronia, we found out where we could buy them. We started off and planted 720 of these aronia berry bushes.
Oh, wow.
It's all about the aronia and super fruits. And aronia ranked right at the top of the charts for oxygen radical absorption capacity. And we know that antioxidants are a healthy thing for us to consume. It helps us, support pretty much our whole body health. And so we planted 720 bushes our first fall, and then the next year we added we have a total of about 4,000 bushes.
Wow.
And, we have a friend of ours that did the same thing, and he added 2,300 bushes on his farm. And so we started growing these aronia berries and consuming them ourselves. People came out to our apple orchard because we planted a couple thousand apple trees that first year. And we started sharing the story of aronia with them, and they started consuming it and coming back and wanting more and more and more. And so as our farm grew in production, we started sharing more of the stories. We started looking at how we could do some value-added products and just sold them right off of our farm. As that grew over the next 2 to 3 years, we decided that, we needed to do something bigger and better. And so our whole story was, how do we share the story of aronia and how can we change people's lives? Just 1% of the farm, and that's what we were doing.
So that became the why, right?
Well, the why, we wanted to make sure we could tell as many people as possible. My wife Jennifer and I, on our farm, and then family and friends, we share the story about the aronia and what it can do to support their health. And it's really hard to keep something really good underneath a basket. You got to tell the story. And, people, what do you do? Well, I have an apple orchard and I grow aronia berries. And they go, what berry? What kind of berry is that? It's basically an unheard of fruit. It's the only native superfruit in North America.
Yeah.
And, ranked higher than nearly every other superfruit that's found in the world. And so, here in Northwest Iowa, Southeast South Dakota, we're trying to figure out, okay, what do we do next? And really what it's, started the foundation is that we started running into other people that had that same passion to grow very, very healthy type of fruits, from cherries and apples and, even vegetables and farmers markets and things like that. We found that there was a host of people that were very interested in that. And so we started sharing aronia berry. More farmers around the region started planting aronia berries, looking at the antioxidant values and what it can do for health and as a superfood. And within about 4 or 5 years, we began meeting together with other growers and, learning how to grow these berries so that we grow the highest quality fruit in the world. And I suppose it was about 6, 7 years ago, we brought other farmers from around the region in Minnesota and Iowa, Nebraska, and Iowa and South Dakota, and had meetings here and talked about aronia and what we needed to do to share this marvelous fruit with the world. And that's kind of where it started. We formed the National Aronia Growers 4 or 5 years later. So we've got growers now in 12 states in Canada growing aronia berries for us. And when you get that many growers, that's a lot of pounds of berries. So we needed to get the word out faster than just selling it off for our farm.
So that's so interesting. So it started with just, okay, is this better than the fruit I'm taking from Southeast Asia, to another farmer and another farmer and another farmer, to this whole association. And then now you have all these people involved and passionate about, this fruit. What were the events once the association was started that then led to it becoming Lifebrook? Right?
Well, there were some other things that we had done prior to that by experimenting with some value-added fruits, So we had, for example, we have bees on our farm, for pollination, and we take that honey. We began mixing that with the aronia, and we had some purple honey, aronia berry honey that we sell right here in our little town. And then we started making juice, and we had an apple press on our farm, so we took the berries and juiced the berries and put them in half-gallon jugs, and people were coming out. We were giving it away, and people were real excited. I said, well, as we expanded our production with other farmers and connecting with them through the National Aronia Growers, we needed to do some other products that we could consume all this product, because it can yield 10 to 15,000 pounds per acre. And so when we start talking that kind of volume, we needed to get the word out faster. We began doing the juices, the honeys, the powders, fruit juices, blended juices. And eventually we had interest from grocery store chains, things like health food stores. That was a very slow process. Mm-hmm. Say why aronia and why we did this, why we did Lifebrook. All this led up to that. We needed to get the story out faster. Now, we could go on the TV and buy ads in the magazines and spend millions and millions of dollars promoting and advertising aronia and what it can do. We bring the medical research in. We have doctors and chiropractors and eye specialists recommending their patients to go home and drink aronia berry juice. This will help you. And so to get that story out, it would be very expensive to go through the traditional advertising medias. And who do you trust better? Your friend, your brother, your sister, your mom, your dad? Or do you trust an ad on the TV or an ad in the magazine? We get blasted by all these advertisements all the time. You watch TV in an evening, you get maybe 30 minutes of TV programming and 30 minutes of commercials. So people get overrun with that. So we felt that, telling a story one person at a time was more truthful. I guess we call it truth in marketing in our company. We just tell the truth, and that's all it's about it. And when somebody's telling somebody like me, telling you about aronia, a year ago or so when we first met, you've heard of aronia, and most people haven't in this country. And so that's the fastest way we felt that we could get the aronia name out and what the benefits are.
And it's interesting. A lot of the, choosing a direct selling model, choosing an MLM model to actually share products with others. There's lots of different ways to do referral marketing. And what was the real why, besides getting the word out fast with other people? What was the real rewarding why and the legacy of actually are really choosing this way, right? Because there's a lot of ways you have so many options in referral marketing today to be able to share a product with one another. And it takes a certain focus or a certain belief in what you're doing to actually be in direct selling today and to do it well, right? And what was that driving force and that why behind it for you and your bride Jennifer and the whole slew of folks that make Lifebrook happen every day?
Well, it kind of goes back to our company statements is connect, share, and grow. We were connecting with people on the farm. We were sharing their product, and people were growing both really in their well-being, their total health scenario, I guess, as you could say. As we started looking at this, and the amount of money that would cost to spend for advertising, well, our customers are telling the story. We had people coming out to our farm that we never heard of before. They said, well, we heard about this thing that you're growing here, and we want to try this because we got this, and this that we're trying to see if we can improve our health conditions. And 1% at a time was telling. That's how it expanded here in Northwest Iowa and Southeast South Dakota and Minnesota and Nebraska. Within just a couple of years, we had growers from Indiana to Colorado, from Kansas and Missouri up to North Dakota, Minnesota, and Wisconsin. And so, it traveled that fast. So when you see
it went viral on you before you even were ready for it. That's awesome.
On the production end. So farmers say, we can grow the best fruit in the world. We can grow the highest quality of fruit in the world. That's right here in the Midwest. And that was what was so unique about it. This is native to North America. It's been used by centuries by the Native Americans here in United States and Canada. To treat a whole host of things that was affecting them. Supporting their health. And when we talked about all these farmers coming and say, okay, what do we do? How do we do this? We can grow it, but I'm not saying anything about me as a farmer or any other farmers that they can't go out and tell the story, because they are the most authentic people to tell something that they're doing. And so authenticity became a big point. And so, one person at a time, farmer at a time, they get their kids, they're maybe living in a city somewhere, and they're telling them, hey, you got to try this. And then they tell somebody else, and they tell somebody else. And that's how it's grown. The authenticity, the truth in marketing, connecting, sharing, and growing was really important. That was the first thing. That was our first objective, is just to tell the story. As we wanted to reward, we feel that through the direct selling or multi-level marketing is that we can reward those people, those customers, those passionate people about what it's done for them by saying, if you tell the story, we'd like to reward you financially. So it's health and wealth. So whether they're just looking to, share the story naturally and they make a little money from that, great. That's all. This is not a get rich quick scheme.
Sure.
And that was where a lot of the confusion come from in direct sales. And we're trying to change that in our company by saying, all we're about is telling the story. You tell the story. We want to reward you in a financial way that, would normally go to the big box stores or retail, commercial grocery stores or health food stores.
Well, and it's been so evident in all the actions you've taken, like in our relationship and what I've seen you put into work to make it easy for people who are the farmers and the people who are your distributors and your passionate customers. You've made it really simple for them to share the story. You've made it really easy for them to share with others. You've gone the extra step versus other companies that we've seen in the space where you're literally like giving them the content to share, right? You've been giving them the tools to share. You've been doing the webinars in the system for them to make it easy to share the story. Not all companies do that in the space. So you've really backed up those words with action to make it easy for people to connect, share, and grow.
We tried. And, coming from the manufacturing and retail sector, my business history, and as a business consultant, I didn't know much about this industry, this business model. And so, we went to some of the leaders in the industry and consulted with them, both legal and business consultants, and brought leaders in to help us, to teach us. There's a lot of people out there that are in the network marketing or multi-level marketing business. They're very seasoned. We are not. So we had to look for advice, like yourself. How do we tell this story? How do we bring it to the general public and let them know how super this is and the benefits that it can provide them. And so after that consulting period, then we started, talking with other people that we're in. And as we became more aware of all the people we're talking with, oh yeah, I'm doing this or I'm doing that. They're already buying off the internet or through friends and associates and so forth. So we felt that this would be a very quick way and a very healthy way, and also with wealth. And with this direction that we had, we've run into some people in the network industry that have advised us and shown us the way. We are, again, it comes back to truth in marketing, and that's the culture we want to have here in Lifebrook.
So Tony, let me ask. So for everyone who's been watching today, what's really next for Lifebrook? This was just your first year. You guys, a lot of folks, the majority of Americans still have no idea what the aronia berry is, right? The market in no way knows we even exist in the truth, right, of it all. And so what do you feel is really next for Lifebrook as we enter 2018?
Well, in 2018, we're looking at different ways that we can use the aronia berry and the different products that are available. We're looking again, just continuing down the path of just one person at a time, changing one person's life at a time.
Yeah.
Doing it, or Joe or John or Jennifer or Louise or Jolene or whoever's out there that is presently consuming and taking this in their diet. It's just one person at a time. We know what's the timeline that we want to be in 6 months or 12 months or 2 years or whatnot. It's wherever the people take the story. And we've got people all across the country now. It's just amazing. Somebody here in Iowa knows somebody in Florida, and the person in Florida knows somebody in Texas, and their aunt lives in southern Missouri, and their cousin lives in Idaho, and their Idaho people, they have friends that live in Oregon and California and Phoenix, Arizona, and Syracuse, New York, and Virginia and South Carolina. It's just amazing what's happened within the last, actually the last few months, because it's almost 18 months to get everything put together. So we felt comfortable to launch our company and make available these products. Over the last 4 or 5 months now that we've actually been shipping, it's been really remarkable to see how this is going out. It's almost like a spider web. From Vermillion, South Dakota. That's where our headquarters are, in Vermillion. And we selected South Dakota. that's where we live. It's let's say a hardy group of people up here. This morning it was 4 degrees. And, when you see people running around in shorts and tennis shoes going to school and at 4 degrees out, you kind of wonder if they're got everything upstairs or if they're just really tough. So anyhow, it's it's a great area of the country. We've got great people. You can walk down the street and meet somebody for the first time, and it's like you've known them for a long time.
Yeah,
we love that culture, and that's the culture we want to present in Lifebrook. When you get to know myself or Jennifer or any of our team leadership, our whole family has come into the company. Our daughter was in IT and business management. She came in last December, and our son, who was a store manager director for a large chain store. He joined us here this summer in July. And our other daughter, she works here in the business, one of our retail outlets here. And my wife, she's handling the financial part of it. And we've retained a national sales director from Virginia that's very adept at things, and several others too. And so it's been quite an exciting time for us, and
really
the future is whatever happens. We're just going to continue down that path with the truth of marketing, talking about aronia, talking about what the science shows. We've got doctors, like I mentioned earlier, medical practitioners. They're sharing the story, saying, I can't do anything more for you, but you might want to try this and see what it does. And the results have been magnificent. And that's one person at a time.
Yeah.
And that's what we're working on. From a program, from a platform and our marketing, we're working on other things to improve. Even when we started the company, and launched the company back in June, we knew that as we move forward, we were going to make some improvements. And it's been really exciting for us to see all that evolve over the last several months. And we look at December here as kind of a break for us somewhat, that we get to be able to work on and focus on some other things behind the scenes. And we're really looking forward to January 1st, 2018. It's going to be a very, very exciting time for all those that are with Lifebrook now, and for those that are going to be joining us this next.
Well, Tony, I want to thank you so much for taking some time out of your super busy schedule to be here today. I'm really grateful you got a chance to join the show. And for those of you that want to learn more about the Lifebrook story, go to www.lifebrook.com and meet Tony and Jennifer and the whole team there and check out what they're all about. So thank you so much, Tony, for your time today. I really appreciate having you here, and thank you for sharing everything that you've put together here in your journey today. Have a wonderful day.
Thank
all right,
you.
everybody. We'll see you all soon. Bye for now.